All right, in the previous video, we learned how to represent the relationship between two quantitative variables, and how to see that is a scatter plot. And most problems are going to give you a scatter plot, but you might have to make your own scatter plot at some point. So this is a quick video to teach you how there are two ways that you can make your own scatter plot. First, how to make a scatter plot on your calculator. These are the directions for how to do it. You have to enter the data in, enter the x's in list 1, the y's in list 2, and then you're going to plot it. And to plot data on our calculator, we hit second y equals, which is our stat plots. Now, easiest way for me to do it is just to show you. All right, so let me move the screen over here so you can kind of still read the directions. All right, first thing you got to do is put your data in. So what I have here is a set of data that I'm going to go ahead and plug in. So these are the weights of cars and the gas mileage of those cars, how many miles per gallon they get. Now, in most problems, you're going to read it and you're going to understand what's the explanatory and what's the response, and it might even tell you what they are. But clearly, the weight of a car will have an impact on the fuel efficiency. Heavier cars tend to, need a little bit more gas, a little bit more power to make them move, and lighter cars less. So that's kind of the trend I'm expecting, but you never know what we'll see here. But again, weight is going to be the explanatory and miles per gallon is going to be the response. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my calculator here. First thing I got to do is enter all this data into my calculator. So stat, go to edit, and put it in. I already have it in there. So in list 1, you're going to type in the weights. In list 2, you're going to type in the miles per gallon. Now, it's super important that you understand these aren't just two random lists of data. This is bivariate data. So this first row is one car that weighed 2,200 pounds and had a gas mileage of 33 miles per gallon. These have to go next to each other. So you can't put these in any order you want. So you have to make sure that every X value is going in with the corresponding Y value directly next to it, or you're going to get the wrong scatter plot. So it's super important that you understand that. All right, so now what we're going to do once the data is all in there, and pause and take your time if you want to practice this, putting it in there, really make sure you're typing it in correctly. Then what you're going to do is you can go second mode, just quit and go to the home screen, then hit Y equals. Now, Y equals is where you type in formulas, you type in equations, you type in functions. We're not doing that, but right above Y equals is stat plot. The reason why I'm having you hit Y equals first is you do want to make sure that there's nothing in Y equals. Like, you don't want your calculator to try to make a parabola from pre-calculus class and at the same time make a scatter plot from AP statistics. It's not going to go over very well. So make sure that there's nothing in Y equals, just clear anything out. All right, so second Y equals is where we get our stat plots. You have 3 different stat plots. We are only ever going to use one at a time. So we'll just go do plot 1, hit enter. Now the first thing we have to do is turn it on. So highlight the word on and hit enter. Then we're going to select the type that we want. Now you'll notice 6 different options, and we're going to use the one that looks, well, like a scatter plot. It's the very, very first one. We do not want the dots connected. We're not making a line graph. We're making a scatter plot. So please make sure you have the very first one selected there. If it's not, highlight it, hit enter. Now it's then going to ask you, where is your X data? Where is your Y data? If you did list 1 and list 2, like I said, it should already be set up for that. But just in case you use list 3 and list 4 or list 5 and list 6 for whatever reasons, this is where you would make those adjustments. So the weight, my X's are in list 1. So if it's not, like, let's just clear that out. Let's just say you don't have anything there. You would hit second, number 1 to get list 1. And then same thing for the Y list. That was the mileage or the gas mileage. Second, 2 to get L2. Now, the last thing is, what mark do you want? These are for the dots, right? You could literally use teeny, teeny, tiny dots, or you could use like a little cross, or you could use a little square. Due to pixels on the calculator screen, I like to use the squares because they're just bigger and they kind of stand out more. All right, once that's all good to go, we want to zoom in on it. Now, if you just hit graph, you're probably going to get a standard 10 up, 10 down, 10 left, 10 right grid. Well, that's clearly not where our data is at. So the calculator has this cool feature. If you hit zoom, sometimes this error happens that I'm getting right now. So just hit second mode, quit out of there if you want. If you hit zoom and then scroll all the way down to number 9, zoom number 9 is zoom stat. So when you are looking at a stat plot, zoom stat will go directly to where your data is at. So it's kind of a cool feature, that way you don't have to go looking around for it. So zoom number 9, zoom stat, and boom, we got ourselves a scatter plot. So we can clearly see a negative, linear, fairly strong, relationship. As the weight of a car goes up, the gas mileage for that car goes down. That's a negative relationship. All right, so using your calculator is pretty cool, but what's even better is using Google Sheets. So now let me show you how to use Google Sheets to make a scatter plot, and this is going to look even nice and prettier. So first off, when you're in Google Sheets, you're going to have two columns of your data. I have our car weights already typed in and our gas mileage already typed in. All right, all you have to do is highlight all of your data, and I would actually recommend highlighting the column titles because it'll automatically put them into your axes titles when you make the scatter plot. Now, it will automatically treat whatever one's on the left as your explanatory. So make sure you have the explanatory on the left. Most of the times it's going to be that way, but just in case. All right, once it's highlighted, all you have to do is go Insert Chart, and it should recognize that you're going to make a scatter plot. It should always jump to Scatterplot. If for some odd reason it doesn't, all you got to do is hit up here where it has the chart editor, go to Scatterplot, and then you could select, if it's not a Scatterplot, it'll say something else there, but you could select the one that is clearly a Scatterplot. All right, now notice how it kind of gives you a nice little title, gas mileage versus car weight. It automatically put a car weight on the x-axis because it was on the left side, and gas mileage on the left y-axis. Now you could customize it. If under Chart Editor you hit Customize, you could edit your axes titles. So if you want to change the titles, feel free. All you got to go in there is choose the title you want, choose the horizontal title, choose the chart title, choose the vertical axis title, and you can change those titles. Let's see here. Oh, hold on, sorry. You can also change the values of the horizontal axis if you want to have them start different. It usually makes it pretty nice for you, but let's say you want to start a little bit earlier, end a little bit later, whatever you want to do, you could change the min and max of that. You could also do the same thing for the vertical axis, and then you could change your grid lines as well. If you want there to be more grid lines or less grid lines, you could do all of that. So usually Google Sheets does a nice job making it perfect right away. The only thing sometimes you have to do is adjust the titles and stuff, but it's pretty easy. You could also change the colors under the option for series. You could change the color if you want to have red dots, whatever you want to do. It's up to you, okay? So again, how do you get that chart editor? Well, when you do Insert Chart, it automatically puts it there. But let's just say it closes for some reason. When you have it, all you got to do is highlight the chart, click the three dots, and there's your edit chart. That'll get your chart editor up. Now, if you are going to ever paste and copy this into a Google Doc, all you got to do is click on those three dots and copy chart, go to a Google Doc and paste chart. Now, when you paste it in your Google Doc, it's going to say, do you want to paste it linked or unlinked? I always choose unlinked. That way, if you do make a change in the Google Sheet, it will not make a simultaneous change in your Google Doc. So unless I guess you wanted to make a change, then leave it linked, but I like to leave it unlinked. It basically turns into like a picture. That way there's no connection between the two documents. All right, guys, hopefully that was pretty easy. You're definitely going to make some scatter plots on your own in class, so and for a project. So make sure that you know how to do it either on your calculator or on the Google Sheets. Google Sheets makes it a lot nicer, but it is important you know how to do both. All right, guys, that's it for this video. See you in the next.